Next, we're going to discuss day two of the NFL draft and the slide of Shedeur Sanders. What it do, folks? It's the Big Chef with Watch the Damn Tape. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop a video. New subscribers, I thank you for watching. Appreciate you coming in. Old subscribers, thank you for helping me build this platform. We just crossed the 300 member mark. It is all because of you guys. Appreciate you for helping me push this content out. Let's get right into it. Day two of the draft. Teams still doing the grocery list. They still working, still building the trenches. Everybody's following that Eagles format. Pressure, coverage on the back end, and get your lines together. Get your O line together, your D line. And if you already got those pieces, start plugging in guys that can help you. Tight ends. Saw a lot of skill receivers get off the board today. DBs. There was a lot of guys that had questions. Guys coming off ACLs. One guy had SA allegations in high school and in college and got drafted. The first quarterback taken off the board was Tyler Show, a 25-year-old rookie from Louisville. He'd been around. He played at Texas Tech. He played at Oregon. Hell, he backed up Justin Herbert at Oregon. That's how long he's been in college football. He was drafted by the Saints in the third round. Two quarterbacks went off the board. At 92, Jalen Milroe of Alabama was picked by the Seattle Seahawks, which is a good pick for them because they have Sam Darnold, and they can stash this kid and develop him. There's no pressure on him. A couple picks later, Dillon Gabriel goes to Cleveland at the 94th pick. Dillon Gabriel, previously of Oklahoma, went to Oregon. He lit it up, was a Heisman Trophy finalist. He gets drafted. In that third round, there was a couple teams, in particularly Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the Raiders. All of them took building block pieces, linemen, tight ends, etc. No Shedeur. And I got to thinking, at this point in the draft, ask yourself this question. Do you think Shedeur Sanders at this point would be happy going to a team as a 4th to a 7th round pick and being a backup? Most 4th through 7th round picks are afterthoughts. You might find a little nugget here and there, but most of them are afterthoughts. Most of them are backups. And most of them are the first person cut. Just keep that in mind. First person cut. Next year, there's another crop of players coming in the league. With more stature, they're going to get picked higher. Which means the people at the bottom of the roster are the most expendable. Do you think Shedeur Sanders will want to sit in that uncomfortable position first time in his life? I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion. I also have another thought. I believe Shedeur Sanders doesn't get drafted at all. I don't think he gets drafted. I don't think he gets drafted. And if he does get drafted, because this is humble pie, the league is determined they're serving humble pie today, and the only person they want to serve it to is Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders, and the pie getting served. If he gets drafted, it'll be in the 7th round. It might be Mr. Irrelevant. The Kansas City Chiefs got the last pick in the draft. It would be a humble, super humble experience. You get drafted, and you get drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, and you're sitting behind Patrick freaking Mahomes. No chance of starting at all. That's humbling. That in itself is humbling. And they would do it because 7th round, throwaway pick. You can't name the last 20 Mr. Irrelevance. Period. You can't name them without using Google. That's the message that they're sending. And there's certain reasons why, folks. If we keep it a buck over here, I'm a Deion Sanders fan. Always have been since I was a kid. Enjoyed watching his son play football. With that being said, the majority of the people on TV have either worked for or know Deion Sanders personally. They're not going to tell you the truth about what really went on between the end of the season and through the draft process. But they all know it, but they're not going to say it. Ryan Clark's not going to keep it a buck. Fred Taylor's not going to keep it a buck. LaShawn McCoy, Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco, Michael freaking Irvin, damn sure ain't going to keep it a buck. We going to keep it a buck. All through the offseason, this is what Deion Sanders said when he was on Tamron Hall. This is what he said. Colorado coach Sanders issued another reminder that he will intervene if his quarterback son Shedeur is drafted by an NFL team that he doesn't like, and said there are a couple teams that I won't allow him to play for. Sanders said this on the Tamron Hall show Friday as he promotes the new season of his Coach Prime documentary series that after it debuted this week. He said he did not say which teams he had in mind. Quote, have you told him privately who you would like him to play for? Hall asked Sanders on the show. It's not like that, Sanders replied. It's not like who I would like for him to play for. It's a couple of teams that I won't allow him to play for. So it's not like that. But this is my profession. And I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's behind the curtain and what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Sanders made similar warnings about this previously when he said that Shedeur could pull an Eli if he didn't like the NFL team that his son got drafted by. A reference to when quarterback Eli Manning refused to play for the San Diego Chargers after being drafted in 2004. Quote, you have said that if the right team doesn't pick him, that you will, Hall said before Sanders finished his sentence. Intervene, Sanders said. He then stated his reason for it. I'm not going to let my son go down in no foolishness, he said. If we making a sandwich and you want cheese, we're going to put extra cheese on this one. Half the problem is Deion. The other half of the problem is Shedeur. Shedeur didn't help himself by going to the Senior Bowl and not working out. Working out, interacting with the coaches, didn't mean you had to play in the game. There's a lot of guys that didn't play in the Senior Bowl, but they went. Michael Penix went to the Senior Bowl last year. He didn't play in the game, but he damn sure worked out. Interviewed, camaraderie with the coaches. You got 2 coaching staffs. There's 32 teams in the NFL. Shedeur only interviewed with 5. That's the ultimate sign of arrogance. And he did that at the combine. That was a huge mistake. You're supposed to audition for everybody. The NFL is serving humble pie. Not only to Shedeur and to Deion. They're serving it to the Colorado program. And anybody else that thinks that they're bigger than that shield. Remember, they always say, no one is bigger than the shield. They are making that perfectly clear. And you got young, impressionable athletes that are sitting at a college right now. They might have made $4 million. You got Carson Beck that got paid to go to Miami. Tua Valova, at UCLA, whatever the pay cut, he's still getting paid. This is a message to those guys. The next crop. The NFL doesn't care about your NIL money. And see, now we're entering that this is the end of the C-19 extra bonus year phase, and in that bonus year phase that these players got, they also got NIL money. That's what they also got during this time. So the level of entitlement with these kids is at an all-time high. Shedeur Sanders was one of the first ones to get NIL money. I believe he's the first player to be signed by Gatorade as a college athlete. Excuse me. So they are stopping the storm before it hits the league. They want no parts of that. No parts of the circus. No parts of the circus. It didn't help that every time Shedeur goes somewhere, it's a spectacle. You know, even the draft party, the lavishness, the entitlement. It reminds me of the video I did about Deja Kelly, just not present in the moment. Not invited to the draft. She goes to the draft, doesn't get drafted. This is got similar threads. You throw an elaborate party with all this branding and the legendary, and you don't get drafted. But we didn't see a day 2 party. Did we? Did you see a day 2 party? We're not going to see a day 3 party. Dylan Gabriel was sitting in his living room when he got drafted. Everybody was ecstatic. When Tyler Show got drafted, he was with his family and he was excited. They were excited. I didn't see Jalen Milroe, but I'm pretty sure he was equally excited. Everybody was in a humble environment. Not jet setting, I've arrived, I'm here. It's a difference. Teams want a blank slate when they come to a quarterback. Y'all can tell me about Johnny Manziel. I don't really care about Johnny Manziel, and I'm an Aggie fan. That was over 10 years ago. And not to mention, Cleveland is a dump. And Cleveland, you know the real reason why they drafted Johnny Manziel? They drafted Johnny Manziel to sell merchandise. It wasn't even, that was a throwaway pick. They didn't care. Cleveland don't care about their fans. Or they be winning. As many number 1 picks as Cleveland's got on their roster, and top high draft picks they've had the last 10, 15 years, constantly being picking at the bottom of the top of the first round. They get the best of the best, and they suck. So spare me with the Johnny Manziel. It was Jerry Jones was thinking the same thing. He wanted to draft Johnny Manziel too, because them Johnny Manziel jerseys would have been flying through the roof. Them people would have been coming in the seats. They had to fill those seats to see Johnny Manziel. So that was a business marketing move with Johnny Manziel. You see how fast he got out the league, and you see no other team dealt with him. No NFL team signed Johnny Manziel after Cleveland discarded him, because they already knew. They knew. It's the same thing with Shedeur. It happens every year. They take one player, like I said, they prop him up and they prop another one. They push another one down. They always have an agenda. It's just this time, Deion knows the playbook. And he thought he was going to be able to dictate terms because of who he is. The NFL said no. This ain't no race thing. You know, you got a lot of people out here talking about race and they don't want a strong black man. Well, damn. Cam Ward was the first freaking pick in the draft. He black. It ain't about race. But that's the easiest thing to go to when you want to play victim. But none of these people on TV are going to tell you the truth. They're going to keep it behind the scenes. Mark my words. When the draft is over, and I say probably around that late May, June, when players start getting, when the veterans start getting cut, and there's a kind of a dead period in NFL news, you'll start seeing a little story leak out. And they'll start giving you some context to what really went on in those interviews and what was really happening behind the scenes. and those calls that Deion said he was going to make. Because Deion said he was going to do things behind the scenes, not publicly, and he said that he was quoted. He was on FS1 and said that. So that's why he's falling and will continue to fall. I wouldn't doubt if Will Howard and Brock Ewers go in round 4 and 5 today, and you still see Shedeur sitting. And on the broadcast, I wasn't watching ESPN, but I've got it recorded. I'm gonna go back and watch the ESPN broadcast because I've heard that Mel Kiper's going freaking nuts. But Mel Kiper knows too. Mel Kiper knows it's not. This is not a on the field thing. Every player in this draft has something they can work on. This is about ego and control and you dictating terms. If we give you what you want and you dictate terms, then we lose control of that shield. And they're not going to let 32 owners, this 32 businesses, collectively they're called the NFL, but these are 32 businesses. That shield represents 32. It's 32 owners versus Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders. You tell me who gonna win. You tell me. Leave your comments below, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, folks, peace.